Okay, so I'm going to talk about how to carve your linoleum plate. So we looked at you should have looked at different kinds of design, Art Nouveau, the arts and crafts movement, Art Deco, and Proto-Modernism. And then on your 4x6 graphite transfer sheet, you should have made a design and transferred it onto your linoleum. So this is my linoleum, it's 4x6. What I did was with Sharpie, I put in black everything that I'm not going to carve away so that it's really easy to see what I want to carve with my gouge tool. This is your gouge handle. There's a part right here where you twist and that loosens these parts on the inside. Your gouge tip will go in between the ball and the thin rainbow. See how there's a thick rainbow attached to the ball? You don't want to try to force it in there. You want to put your gouge tip in between the ball and the thin rainbow. The gouge tips will be inside your handle, and there are 3 tips. There is the small V. This is for detail, and this is the end that goes inside of the handle this way. There is the large V. This is for larger pieces that you want to carve away, but still with precision, and you get a nice point right there. And there is, oops, the wrong way. There is the U gouge, and this is good for carving out large areas of space. And again, this is the bit that goes inside. Oops, it's a little blurry. This is the part that goes inside of the gouge handle. So to demonstrate, I had this already loosened. I'm going to put the end, that usually you can tell what the end is by looking at the brand right here. So that means that's the end that's going to go inside of my gouge handle. So sliding it in between the ball and the thin rainbow. Don't force it in. If it's a little tight, just loosen a little bit more, lefty-loosey. And then once you have it in and it feels stable, you can see the rounded part stops at that point. See how there's this thinner part of the gouge? You want the thick part to be resting on top of the ball. That's when you know it's in correctly. And then you're going to twist righty-tighty to make it tight. And I'm going to put the handle back on. Now when I carve, always carve away from your hand. You're going to use your hand to hold down your linoleum as you're carving. If you carve towards yourself like this, you can cut yourself, and trust me, these babies hurt. I've bled many times from these. So always carve away from your hand. Twist and turn the linoleum as you carve, always carving away from your hand, okay? That's the safest way to carve and to use this gouge tool. Now when you carve, I hold my gouge at an angle like this. I usually use one hand to hold down the linoleum, one finger to kind of guide the hand, and I don't have to go very deep. So as you can tell, the linoleum becomes a lighter gray when it's carved away. That's all you really need. You don't have to carve really deep into this. You just have to get that top layer away, and the gray will change as I showed you. So I'm gonna go in and get these large areas of linoleum out using the U gouge. And then when I'm ready, I can switch to the V, the large V or the small V, when I need more detailed areas like here inside the iris or around the veins in the leaves or down here. So I'm going to put this on time lapse. You can see the work I'm going to do with the U, and then I'm going to move on to a different detailed piece. So I used my large U-shaped gouge to get the large areas of space. Now I'm going to change my tip. So again, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. The gouge should be able to wiggle right out. If your gouge ever gets stuck inside of your handle, what you can do is twist everything completely, and it should all come off the handle. And then you should be able to loosen all the parts. be careful not to lose these pieces. So here's another look at the ball and the big rainbow, and then the little rainbow. So they fit together like this. Slide it ball side first through the handle like that. Hold it down so that the pieces don't fall out. And then take the handle with the screw inside and twist. Again, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So when it's nice and loose, I can go in and switch. I'm going to use the big V this time so I can get some more detail. So putting it between the ball and the thin rainbow, slide it in where the rounded part on the gouge is resting on top of the ball. That means it's in correctly. I'm going to twist it in righty tighty, and then I'm going to keep carving. So I used my large U tip gouge for the large areas. I used my large V for some more precision outlining, and now I'm going to switch to my small V for finer detail. So again, I'm going to put it inside the gouge handle, oops, so you can see, between the ball and the small rainbow. If it's not fitting in quite right, just loosen it up a little bit. And then twist to the right, and now I'm going to finish this. So that is it. My linoleum plate is carved. I added a little bit of detail in the background with my thin small V gouge, just to kind of fill in the space a little bit more, because it makes a more interesting print that way. So again, please be careful. Always cut away from your hand, never towards it, because that is a bleeding wound waiting to happen. So again, just take your time. You don't have to carve that deep. Don't be too forceful with it, and have fun.